Chapter 34, Underwater Epiphany. Ugh, the leather is going to shrink, said Mal, wringing her jacket and trying to dry her hair. She had already vomited up a gallon of water and was still shaking from the near drowning, not to mention the near crocodile dinner experience. But Mal, being Mal, of course, didn't want to show how shaken she was, so she focused on mourning her ruined jacket instead. What a bunch of dock rats we are, she said with a laugh. Carlos was similarly soaked to the bone, and Evie was shoeless, her jacket torn. Her bird's nest hair could rival any of Corella's frightened wigs. Speak of yourselves, said Jay, who was dry without a scratch. Don't worry about the jacket. I can make you another one, said Evie, running a brush through her hair, trying to make herself look presentable. I shouldn't have run off like that, said Mal. I'm sorry. I thought Maddie was my friend. Evie patted Mal on the shoulder. Her hand made a wet, squelching sound, and she withdrew it in alarm. Oh, it's okay. We all make mistakes. I didn't think she would betray me like that, said Mal. I really thought she was part of the Anti-Heroes Club. Carlos was sitting on the ground. He'd removed his shoes and socks in an effort to dry them. He pulled seaweed from his hair. What do you think Maddie meant when she said, all of Ordon will burn, just like Camelot? Evie shrugged. Isn't that what villains do, threaten? It sounded a little more specific than that, don't you think? Said Carlos. How did she know about the fires in Camelot, then? Hang on. She said something about Camelot? Asked Mal. Yeah, and didn't you say that's where that purple dragon is? Said Carlos. Mal nodded. Yeah. Maybe Ben put it on the news, said Evie. Maybe, said Mal. She shook out her jacket. Listen, I need to tell you guys something, but we should get cleaned up first. I can't think with all this wet stuff on me. She shook her hair, and droplets rained all around her. All around. The junk shop isn't far from here, so Jay and Carlos can get cleaned up over there. Evie and I will go back to the bargain castle across the street. Meet us there after you get changed. The four of them walked back into town, Mal squelching with every footstep, Evie walking in stockings, Carlos simply barefoot and holding his wet sneakers, and Jay practically skipping. The boys crossed over to Pity Lane and headed for Jafar's, while Mal unlocked the door to the bargain castle. Mal turned to Evie with a wan smile. By the way, thanks for coming after me. You're welcome. It's what friends do, said Evie. Mal nodded. Then thanks for being my friend. My real friend. Later, when the boys arrived, Carlos was dressed in a purple and yellow sweater and shorts that were too big for him. Evie was wearing one of Mal's old t-shirts, holey jeans, and a pair of Mal's old boots. The four friends sprawled on the carpet and chairs in Mal's room. Carlos was even able to get a fire going in the fireplace. They hadn't slept all night, and it was already close to sunrise. Mal, what did you want to tell us earlier? Said Carlos, poking the fire with a stick. He placed his sneakers by the crate. Great, hoping they would dry soon. The Crocs in the bay, said Mal. Aren't they usually by Hook's Inlet? Why were they all around Dune Cove all of a sudden? Change of scenery, snorted Jay. No, it was like they were guarding something. Something important, she said, warming her hands by the fire. I think I know what it is. The entrance to the catacombs, said Carlos promptly. Yeah. How'd you know? Mal asked, looking a bit miffed that little bit of her thunder had been stolen. Lucky guess, said Carlos with a smile. Seriously, what else could it be? Anyway, when I was underwater, I thought I saw a cave down there. The crocodiles were swimming out of it. It looked like it was their nest. Said Jay. If the crocodiles were coming out, there must be another entrance from the top side. Crocodiles prefer to make their homes on land, not underwater. Also, if Jafar, Evil Queen, and Corella did go down there, I doubt they swam. For one, none of them can. Perfect, said Carlos, because I sure wasn't looking forward to getting wet again. My sneakers just dried. We should tell the anti-heroes group so they can help us find it, said Evie. Yen Sid told everyone to be back at the basement by sunrise, so we'll go and tell them then. Good idea, said Jay. It's funny, said Mal. If we're right about this, and that crocodile cave down there is the entrance to the catacombs, Maddie thought she was getting rid of me, but instead she did us a favor. She helped us instead of harming us, said Carlos, putting his dry socks back on. It's like Fairy Godmother always says, said Evie, hugging a purple pillow to her chest. Don't let the stepsisters get you down, said Mal. Goodness works in mysterious ways. Even in the deepest dark, you'll find a light to shine your way through.